Now we see the recording. Okay, now it's recording. We can start. So first of all, I present myself, Zalman Samama. I'm a shliach in the Montreal area, and Baruch Hashem, in my personal Chabad house, the charity. My first charity campaign was to open my Chabad house. Since then, we've done 6 campaigns every year, and Baruch Hashem, it's going up and up. And every year we raise more and more money. And most of that, most important is that the community is actually waiting for that campaign every year in the September area. So my campaign is in September, Elul. And many stories I'm going to tell you today is actually my personal stories, but you should know that I have the privilege to be a fundraising specialist and campaign manager for charity. And I've been using every single tips that I'm giving you today with tens or hundreds of organizations. It's just that it's much easier to speak about my own personal stories, especially that many information for other organizations will be personal and I prefer not to share. So I got to start with a little story. I met a friend that I helped him actually many years ago to do his first campaign. And then the few years after that, I never got in touch with him anymore. I mean, he didn't reach out to me. And I guess I didn't reach out to him also. And I met him a year ago, 2 years ago at the Kinus. And we were like waiting at the red lights. And Shluchim, he started to speak and he's telling me, wow, you helped me so much 4 years ago. That's very, very nice. And I told him, why don't you call me again? He said, I think I figured it all out. And Baruch Hashem, we have a campaign every year and it's working amazingly. So I asked him, so how much do you raise? So he told me the $120,000. I told him, but that's pretty much what we raised 4 years ago. He said, yeah, that's true. So every year we raise 120 for the past 4 years. And the first year I needed your help. Now I don't need. So I told him, I hear what you say, but no offense for me to raise the same amount for 4 years in a row. That's not, for me, it's not a success story. That's maybe the opposite. It's a failure. You're just renewing the donations, whatever you do, you don't increase. And we spoke. He's a good friend, so we spoke a little bit, 30 minutes on the way to 770, and then each one continues Kinus. A few months later, I got a call from him. Let's say his name is Mendy. So Mendy calls me and he tells me, Zalman, I need you to help me for my campaign. I said, what happened? I thought that everything was going well. He said, this year we want to do something special. I want to really make a real campaign. And actually we started working together and for like 1-2 months we worked very hard, and Baruch Hashem, he raised almost twice what he raised the year before. I'm telling you that story because I guess the topic today is out of the box campaign. What does out of the box mean? Each one interpreting his own thing. For me, out of the box campaign means actually going out of your comfort zone. Out of the box means out of what you are used to do. Out of everything that you thought it's enough. And the role of charity in general, and me personally, when I work with an organization, is not to, we should not go for a lower campaign if we know the potential is bigger. We should really make sure we can reach the potential. And the question today is, how do we do that? And I'm going to share with you a few practices that I do. And before that, I want to hear from you guys. Anyone here play chess? Do we have any chess players over here? I see we have a good 30 participants. Any chess player? Okay. Anyone that knows how to play chess?
I'm a good checker.
Checker? No. So chess is one of my I don't know, maybe my hobby, I don't know, especially recently. And one of the things we learn in chess is that there is 3 phases in the game. There is the opening phase, there is the middle game, and there is the end game. And each part of the game has its own rule. Someone can be very good in openings, but when he gets to the middle or even more in the end games, he's completely lost. And could be that middle game you're good, and could be that you're very good in end games, but you hardly get to the end game. You lose before the end game. And it's not a chess class now, but I mean, I hope many of you understand what I mean. So we have to understand the campaign. It's like a 3-phase campaign. We have the opening, which in our case is before the live campaign. We have the middle game, which is the live campaign. And we have the end game is after the campaign. What I see many times is that a lot of organizations, and especially shluchim, because we are very busy in our schedule, and we don't have time to work on a campaign for 1 month or 2 months. And what happens is that we focus a lot on the day of, and we have a link, we have a campaign, we share the link, people share, we raise the money, we are happy, and we forget about it until the next year, which is good, but not good enough, especially not for our session over here today. What we want to do, we want to make sure that every single campaign, especially you guys that are here, reach its potential. And to reach the potential, there is a lot of work to do before the campaign. And obviously the middle game, which is the live campaign, most of the people understand. It's easy to understand. And then the end game is a different story. I just give you a story that happens to me like a week ago. So I had a guy that a few years ago he donated, let's say, $200. And after that, the biggest donation he made is $500. And I tried to convince him to give $3,000 in this year campaign. So I was very smart. I said I got to reach out to him a month before the campaign. So a month before the campaign, hi, let's call him Uriel. And pick a name over here. Uriel, how are you? And the guy obviously didn't answer the phone. You know, most of the time when you call someone, you hope he's not answering, and he's actually the prayers are answered, and the guy doesn't answer. So he doesn't answer. So I end up sending him an email, WhatsApp, and I keep on messaging him. Sometimes he's replying quickly. Yes, I'm busy. I have a wedding. I have a thing. And for weeks, I see the weeks going up. And I'm looking for $3,000 for a mature level in the campaign, and I need those mature. If not, I cannot do the campaign. So the stress goes up, and the campaign come and is not answering. Now we have 36 hours of the campaign, and obviously the campaign starts. I said, Uriel, now it's live. Now is the time for you to make the move. Here is the link, I count on you, this, and the guy completely disappeared. The campaign ends, I tell him, look, the campaign is finished, but we still open for a few days. Nothing happened. This is a real story. 2 weeks ago, I decided for my Chabad house that this year we're going to do a parade, Hanukkah menorah parade, and we're going to encourage people to come with their car and menorah. So I said, you know what, I need some menorah for me and enough for at least 10 people or 15 people from the community. So if they come, we can have at least 15, 20 cars with menorah, and everyone else that doesn't have a menorah is going to follow us. So I'm thinking, okay, 15 menorah, it cost almost $4,000. $3,000, whatever, I got the deal. And I'm thinking, who should I reach out to? And I actually chose to message 3 people that are in the same category of this Uriel, which are people that I counted on them for the campaign and never reply and never didn't go through, or whatever I expected didn't come. And I messaged 3 people on the spot. And Oriel answered me in 10 seconds. He said, I love that. I sponsored the whole thing. Here is my credit card. I never got such a donation so quick. And actually, the parade is happening. Bezrat Hashem, you have to. What do I learn from that story? And why do I tell you this story? Is because, again, the whole idea when you think about your campaign, it's not, even if the campaign is 36 hours, but the campaign is the whole year. The whole year you need to have the campaign in mind. And when the campaign is over, it's not over. In the next 2 or 3 months, everyone that didn't donate, you have still a connection with them, and you can find a different project that for that project they will donate. What's important is that you try not to skip a year with a donor. Usually the donations comes yearly. So if you skip a year, it's harder to get the donor for the next year. But if for the past 3 to 5 years is donating every year, you can expect from him a donation this year again. Okay, that's a beautiful story. Now let's go to the Etzem Ha'inyan. Okay, so I'm going to share with you some documents that I'm using. Again, if you want any of those documents, email me at zalman@charity.com. I will be very happy to send you a sample of those documents. So this is the first document when you decide you want to make a campaign, okay? And you don't know how much the campaign should be, what's the goal, what's the matching amount. So we have a very easy way, campaign calculator, to calculate everything, most of the things on the campaign. And based on that, you can decide, first of all, what should be your goal. And even more, after you know your goal, you know what you have to do to reach that goal. So I'm taking an example of Chabad of nowhere, of everywhere, actually. And let's say they have a budget of $200,000. Obviously, all those numbers can change. Your budget is, I know your budget is $2 million, so you just put a zero in front after every number over here. So $200 budget, campaign goal is $100. By the way, it's a good question. How much a charity campaign? How much of your annual budget the campaign should cover? So obviously, it depends if it's a school, if it's a Chabad house, if it's a soup kitchen, whatever it is. But in general, for a regular Chabad house, I think the charity campaign could easily cover 60 to 80% of your yearly budget. It's not happening. It's not always. One of the reasons is that you need a lot of when you make a campaign every year for the past 5-10 years, then this campaign becomes the bigger event in your Chabad house, and all the donation will concentrate on that campaign. In any case, in that example, the campaign will cover 50% of the budget, which I think it makes sense for many Chabad houses. Okay, now see, the police is chasing us. Can we mute someone? Mute all. Okay, back to the file. Okay, so our campaign is, let's say, $100,000. Easy number to remember. The matching will be 50, and the crowd is 50. Now it's interesting. Back then, it was very common to make a ×4 campaign, which is it's still a very common thing to do. But I see that for many Chabad house, ×2 campaigns, it's what works the best. So you have 50,000 of the matching, 50,000 of the goal of the crowd. Now, when you reach out to your matchers, you should know that you should know what you're looking for. So let's say we're going to split the matchers in 3 different levels, and you're going to have people donating 10,000 and up. That will be platinum matchers. This is all names. You can choose any name for that. And we have 5,000 and 2,500. So of course, if you move the numbers over here, okay. So we go for a $500,000 campaign. The matcher is going to be 50, let's say, to 100,000. And gold will be 25 and silver will be 12 or let's say 10,000 and up. So the matching fund that you're looking has to do with the overall goal that you're covering on this campaign. Now, when you're done with that, first of all, you have to get the matchers. So you make a calculation. You're gonna need probably 1 platinum matcher, 3 gold, and let's say 5 silver. So the total of your matchers should be around between 5 and 10 people. Hopefully, it's not more than 10 or let's say maximum 15. Then you go for the mid-tier donors. The mid-tier donors is everyone that is not in the matching level, but is not someone that you want to wait for the day of the campaign to call him. Because let's say the guy can give $2,000. If you send him a link during the campaign, he's going to give $200. And I have stories. I don't want to say too many stories. We don't have enough time. But I have stories with organizations that call me after the campaign. Can you explain to me why this guy donated $5,000 last year and this year only $180? So my first question is, tell me, how did you reach out to them? Oh, I sent them a link when it was the campaign and I told them, please donate. Obviously, you're going to lose many donations that way. The right way to do it is to select all the big donors under the matching level and reach out to them before the campaign is live. How long before? 4 weeks before, 3 weeks before, 2 weeks before, the week before. And you should tell them how much money you expect from them. So let's say in our case, we are looking to raise at least $75,000 on, we changed the campaign goal to 500, which is a crowd goal of 250. And 30% of 250 will be 75,000. So we're actually looking for 50 donors that will confirm an amount of about $1,500 donation. It's not very complicated. Every organization that raised $500,000 should have 50 donors that donate between 500 to 10,000, which 10,000 is the lower level to become a matcher. And the average will automatically be 1,500 or something like that. All this is what we call the opening game. This is the pre-campaign. This is the work that we do before the campaign is live. Now, the document goes on with the live campaign, but I don't want to speak about it now. And I'm going to change the document to speak more about how we raise the matching funds. Okay? We have seven minutes left. I hope I can, for me, like after 1:30, we're going to go maybe for questions. And, okay. All right, this is actually a real spreadsheet. Okay, I'm gonna try. I changed the names, the color of the names, so it's not visible too much in the screen. But this is a real campaign, and I want to go with you through the real way to look for to work on the matchers. Okay. So there is some rules over here for the matchers. So first of all, the mistake that I see a lot in campaigns, one mistake that is very common, it's someone has in mind one big donor or 3 big donors or 5 big donors, and he wants to make a charity campaign. So in his head, Zalman, Mendel, and they're going to give probably this amount, and let's do a campaign. And that's a big mistake, and it's based on the Pashut Teilim, Al Tiftechu bin Divim. We know that our job is not to, we don't count on someone. We are doing the kelim, and we hope that the kelim will be filled up with the bracha. And to make the keli is not to have a name in mind and say, this guy, I hope, is giving me $50,000. And if he's not giving you $50,000, your whole campaign goes completely kaput. Actually, I had a experience recently with an organization. They had a guy that say he wants to build a new floor on a building, and he's going to donate $2 million. So we met first. I met with the organization, and they tell me we want to make a $5 million campaign. We have a $2 million matcher. And my question was, did this matcher confirm already? They said, no, we have a meeting in 2 weeks. And as we went, the meeting was pushed over to another week. And my reaction was, for the first time, I don't think we should base a campaign on a matcher. We should have a strategy to cover something, and we hope that this strategy is going to work. But we don't count on one guy to back up the whole campaign. And if he's not answering, then we are stuck in the campaign. So what's the alternative to that? Is to have a list of names of people that you're going to write down. And here we have last year, but if it's the first year for you, you just got to put an ask amount. How much you want to ask from him. And I hear a lot of people telling me, I don't like to say an amount. When I speak to someone, I just tell him, please contribute, please participate. I don't say how much I want. And my answer is like that. First of all, you need to have an amount in your head, even if you don't mention the amount. And second, you should mention the amount. But even regardless if you're going to mention the amount or not, you need to have this amount in your head. Okay? So step one is putting names with how much you want to ask them. Could be it's your first campaign. You still need to do that. Now, how are you going to select what amount? You guess. The guess doesn't have to be real. You guess this one 2,000, this one 10,000, this one 50,000. Depends on, again, on the campaign goal that you have. Now, before you solicitate anybody, I always want this ask amount to be filled up completely. What do I mean by completely? If you're actually looking for $50,000 of matching funds, you want to have an ask amount of $150,000. Okay? Why? It's because the statistic says that if you ask 20 people, and whatever amount you ask, but in your list, you have 150,000 of ask amount, you have a very, very big chance to get 50,000 of confirmation before the live campaign. So that's the first thing we should do. Don't worry about asking the person, because I know, you guys know, that the most complicated thing to do in a campaign and in general in fundraising is to pick up the phone and or to go to meet. Sometimes you meet with someone and the conversation goes amazingly for 30 minutes. And at the end, you're like that, and you're looking at the guy and you say, am I really going to ask him for an amount, taking the risk to ruin the whole conversation? We had an amazing conversation. If I stop here, we end with a very nice feeling. If now I ask him for $50,000, I might ruin the whole thing. So before we even get to that, the ask amount, you don't meet anyone. You just fill up your listing with all the ask amount. If you fill up everything and you don't get to 100% of your goal, which is 3 times what you're looking for the matching, keep on looking for names. Ask your wife, check your database, even look in the city who is donating to other organizations that are similar to you. I don't know what technique you will do, but this has to be covered 3 times in the ask amount, that's what you actually need for you matching fund for your campaign. When you finish that first step, and I suggest that you should have a timeline, let's say 1 week to do that, then you give yourself another timeline, another 1 week to reach out to all the names. So in that list, I have actually 66 names. It's a lot. You don't need 66 names. The reason why I have 66 names is because after 5 campaigns or 6 campaigns, during the year, I think about a name I add in my listing. And of course, I'm not expecting from the 66 to say yes on what I ask them. But I know, and I hope, at least I know that I have a big chance to get $50,000 or whatever amount I need from these people. And by the way, anyone that won't be part of the matching money, usually at that, the people in that list would automatically move to your mid-tiers list, which we spoke before, that we are actually looking for 30% of the crowd money. Anyway, when we get to the second step, and I'm going to end soon, we need a timeline. In the week or in 10 days, I need to reach out to all of the 66 people or all of the 50 people that I have on my list. And I give you a tip now. Don't skip a name. You know what happens when you sit at your desk and you see a name, you see Zalman, Samama? I don't know if I want to call him right now, the first person. Let's skip to the second. Mendel, this, let's try the other one. And after 30 minutes sitting on your desk, you go over the 40 names and you didn't pick up the phone and you didn't call anyone and nothing happened. You go back home and you say, okay, today we did some brainstorming. That's not good. That's not good. What you need, every single name, you do an action. Call, WhatsApp, email. What I like to do is I like to call first, hoping that the guy doesn't answer. And I send him an email or WhatsApp saying, I try calling you. I have the guts to call you. You didn't answer. Now I have no choice to message you. And here is what I need from you. Okay, I hope you guys like that. Anyway, so second step, to have an action with every single one. So, of course, some people you're going to meet, you don't want to call. If you ask for $100,000, you don't do that on the phone. But you have to call him to tell him I want to meet with you, or you have to email him or message him. Give yourself a timeline. I know the Chabad Giving Day is in 10 days. Oh, I don't know, for some it's tomorrow. I give you the best practice. You can just squeeze everything in days. Okay? 1 week become 1 day or 1 hour, and the other week become another hour. Reach out to everybody. Now, that's what I call making the Kelly. Making the Kelly means I reach out to him. What he's going to reply to me, that's not under my control, and that's not what I'm looking, that's something else. It's a different story. So when you did the Kelly of step 1, filling up your list of ask amount. Step 2, calling everyone. Of course, the third step is getting the confirmations of people. Slowly, okay, this one gives $5,000. Boom, my spreadsheet gets updated automatically. And of course, for our campaign, we hope to have more than 100% of matching because we need for the bonus match and everything. So that's for the matching part. I would hope to cover another part on that meeting, but I don't think we have the time. I just want to tell you one thing. I'm going to stop sharing. I just got to tell you that until now, the way I understood charity, and many, is that we have three kinds of donors. We have matchers, we have mid-tier donors, which is everyone under the matcher level, but that we want to reach out before the campaign. And we have the crowd, which is the excitement, the movement during the campaign, the teams, everyone, $18, $200, $5,000 surprise dollar. And I know that today that we have a fourth category, Arba Banim, is monthly donors. Monthly donors, it's a new thing that I had the merit to work on it for now more than a year. And I see huge results on a campaign. And today, Charity even developed a feature that will include the monthly donations. I mean, it was always included, but will push donors to become monthly donors with the upsell feature that you should all of you have in your campaign that is already preset in the Chabad Giving Day. What is the idea behind monthly donors? Of course, you can just have a monthly option in your campaign, and you hope that people will click on it when they donate. But that's not what I mean by that. Monthly donors is people from your community that you target, you know that they can be monthly donors. Why? Because they come to events, they have kids in Hebrew school, they come to Shabbos, every Hanukkah, Pesach. They are in touch with you on a relatively, often. And that's why the same way they benefit from you, they can also contribute to you in the same way. Now, what's the gain? What do we gain from the monthly donors? It's very simple, and that's statistic. You can up a donation from 3 to 5 times the amount by making it monthly. And how you do that? You just make a list before the campaign starts of people you know they could do it. And the same way you do with matchers, the same way we do with mid-tiers, you one by one you call them, become a partner of the Chabad House by making a donation, a monthly donation. Here are the options. You can donate, let's say, 150 to become a gold, 100 a month, or 50 a month. You're going to be very surprised to see how many people, if your list is well selected, I challenge you to do it. I'm sure you can get more than 30% of people that will say yes for a monthly. And if you do that, the donation, it's very hard to estimate how a monthly donation can change the whole dynamic of your campaign. So someone that donates usually $180, asking for $50 a month, which is $600 the whole year, and that's more than 3 times what he donated last year. You have a big chance that the guy will donate that amount, and if not, he's going to give more than 180 the day of the campaign. Anyway, there is a lot to cover, but I think for today, it's good. I'm opening the floor for anyone that wants to ask a question. So I think you can just unmute yourself and ask any question. Again, before the question, I want to remind you, if you want any of the document that I shared with you, actually I didn't share so many documents today, you can email me, and I will be very happy to send you. So someone is asking, is saying that some people cancel the monthly donations during the year. So my answer to that, many times, if you don't make it chashuv, you need the monthly donation. If the guy just click on monthly donation, he doesn't feel the commitment as much as if you call him and you tell him you become a partner. You can even make a list of all the partners, put plaques in your Chabad House, or send a list by email thanking all the partners. You need to make it special. It's not just the guy clicked and you're good for the year. You need to make sure to call him at least once every 3 months. Every time you see on your email, the monthly donation went through. Thank you, Zalman, for your support. I got you monthly donation. That's amazing. So it's not only about doing it, it's really following up with the donors. Personally, I did thought about that, of people canceling the monthly donation. After more than a year or 2 years that I'm working a lot with that, I see that very, very few people cancel. And if they do cancel, the amount that you lose by the cancellation is maybe 5% of what you gain from the overall monthly project that you do. My email is on my name, on my Zoom. I can say again, zalmans@charity.com. Any question? I think you can unmute yourself. Let me see. Oh, I just allow all participants to unmute themselves. So if you have a question, you can now unmute yourself, ask the question, or you can just message on the chat. Okay. So I'm going to end up the meeting with a last tip or advice. Make sure your campaign is not about raising money. It's an event. It's something that you want the community to be involved. As a Chabad House, when I do a campaign with a different organization, it's not Chabad, they tell me, yeah, but for Chabad it's easy. For us, it's hard. Because you guys, Chabad has the community, they do so much, it's easy for them. And it's true. If you do your campaign and you didn't meet with your community a month in advance, and the community you don't speak about it in the Shabbos drasha, and your community is not involved and they're not excited. If your community can go to work the day of your campaign without thinking about you the whole day, that's a very bad sign. That means you are doing a one-man show and you don't using the potential of your crowdfunding campaign. What you need to do, you need to make sure the community is with you. They sweat with you, and the more stress they have and you have during the campaign, the more when you get to the goal, everyone will be so happy and the celebration will be amazing. Now, there is many conditions for that. Of course, the first one is to get them involved in the slogan. I have an organization that actually one of the member of the Chabad House find a matcher for the campaign. Now I'm telling you, I don't see that every day. I don't see an organization that one of the simple guys that come in and out from the campaign, from the doors, they find matchers for the organization. But it happens. And why it happens? It happens if you put your community involved in your campaign. And one way to do it is, like I said, meetings, ask them to be volunteers, ask them for ideas for slogan. And one important thing, to have a your charity campaign should become yearly, something that they know you don't have to announce. They know that in December or whatever month you do it, it's coming. One day I called, one time this year actually, I called a matcher in a month before my campaign. He said, "Hey Zalman, how are you?" He said, I knew you were going to call me. I said, "Why?" He said, "Because your campaign is in a few weeks now, no?" I said, "That's right, that's why I'm calling you." How they know? Just because for years we do the same date, the same campaign, the same idea, the same concept, and every year we should try to bring something new in the campaign and making it out of the box. So, Chavre Shluchim, very happy to be able to farming with you today. Again, I got to give another few seconds if anyone has a question, but if not, the meeting will end now. Rabbi Greenberg, asking a question, you have to unmute yourself. You should be able to unmute yourself. No, it doesn't work. So maybe you can message on the thing, because you know what? Let me try to unmute you. Ask to unmute. I just ask you to unmute. Oh.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
All right. My question is, if you have already people that do monthly donations, and then once a year they give another $1,000 or another $500, how would you go with this? Like to push them to do more on the monthly donation, how would you go with this?
So first of all, my first question, if it was a one-on-one meeting with you, I would ask you, how many people get in that category? How much they donate? What's your organization budget? And how many people you have in your community? Based on that, many times the answer will be that forget about those people, they already donate monthly. You have a bunch of new people that you can put them for that campaign. And that's what I would focus, is to bring new monthly donations in the campaign. So let's say for an organization, and that's a real story, an organization had $1,000 of monthly donation from 10 people every year for the past 3 years. We started this monthly project in the charity campaign. They got now like $4,000 a month of monthly donation. So they went from 1,000 to 4,000. Now, I would say 80% of the monthly donation happens before the campaign. But also during the campaign, we had an option of levels that will go with the monthly donations, like I all think about the monthly things, and few people in the campaign also commit for monthly donation. Overall, they got about $4,000 every month. So they quadruple what they had before. So I think what you have to look at what you have. And the question is how I can double that. Let's start with doubling what you have. I think you can triple, quadruple, but let's start by doubling. And if you double that, next year you want to double again. And that's in the long run, in 5 years, you come back to me, you tell Zalman, you think what? And now we have 20 times more donations than 5 years ago. Anyone that wants to ask a question, I guess maybe you can raise hand and I will ask you to unmute. I guess that's the best way. Okay, shkoyach everyone. I wish you a lot of atzlacha. And remember, people like to donate. They're just waiting for us to ask them. They like to do it. They like to participate. And I'm sure they love you as a Chabad Shliach. So big atzlacha and all the best.